The September update is now available for Le Mans Ultimate, so let me take you through everything you need to know about it, including the release of DLC Pack number 2. I want to start by mentioning the pricing, because currently the base price is £25, €30 or $33 until September 30th. They're putting up the price, which will reflect the expanded content. So the new price after September 30th will be £30, €35 or $38. The Season Pass is not affected with this, it still remains the £40, €36 or the $49, which offers a 25% discount compared to buying all 4 packs individually. Now that I've spoken about the DLC packs, let's talk about DLC pack number 2. This is going to be on sale for those people that haven't got the Season Pass. It's going to be £10, €12 or $13, and adds Circuit of the Americas, aka COTA, as well as the Alpine A424 and the Azaso Franschini with the Hypercar Grid, which is now officially complete. Now let's talk about new content. So first of all is the 2024 official liveries. There are 60 new official liveries in both offline and online race modes, including updates for LMP2 and a variety of liveries for Hypercar class. And this includes special liveries like the 2 one-off Cadillacs from Le Mans, the historic Proton competition Porsche 963, and the Jota Porsche Mobile One celebration livery from the COTA race. And all remaining Hypercar liveries from 2023 Le Mans will also be available, along with the specific number board options for each car. And that really just covers the new content. As for new features in the game, we've got a co-op mode, which allows players to team up with a friend for a shared race experience, perform teams, take on racing challenges, and compete on global leaderboards. And it has asynchronous gameplay, meaning you can race on your own schedule, handing off your stint to a teammate whenever you're done. And you can coordinate pit stop strategies, overtakes, race tactics as well to succeed. They've also added a save and resume, and players can save their progress during a single player race and resume it later. So the game will now pause in the pits, which allows you to adjust your strategy when paused, but also a manual save. And there will also be 3 autosave slots for added convenience as well for the times you choose not to manually save. Then we've got a season select, so you can race cars from the 2023 season or the 2024 season, and choosing the 2024 season will still have GTE cars included, but will be replaced with GT3 cars when they are released. They've also added a car settings manager, and this just saves seat positions uniquely per car, so it's not global no more. Now let's talk about game improvements. To start with, there's been a car selection UI overhaul, allowing you to filter by year, class, manufacturer, car number, and livery. There's been some force feedback improvements as well, so the force feedback normalization has been enhanced to improve a more consistent feel across different cars. For stability, they fixed several invalid memory accesses causing crashes. They've also fixed a crash that could happen when disconnecting a wheel or other devices. For AI, they've done some AI improvements that include better fuel management to prevent them running out of fuel, and more realistic behavior as they're going to go slower back to the pits as the session ends. They've fixed various AI pit lane overtake issues, and they've also fixed several issues that would cause AI to behave erratically and crash into other vehicles, and AI now wait for a safe pit release. For physics, they've added a soft fall off to damage usage as it becomes empty or full to prevent large shifts in car behavior as regeneration or propulsion stops. They've also fixed virtual energy estimates being displayed incorrectly when using kilowatts hour. For graphics, they've done some minor adjustments to color balance of sky, a minor fix for the terrain shader pattern textures not blending, and fixes and improved logging around managing the application of weather at session changes online to address occasional scene overexposure. For HUD, they've added a force feedback meter, made the track map outline a bit thinner as well. For online, they've fixed normal server disconnects like when leaving being detected as unexpected disconnects. For UI, they fixed online menus not updating after a few hours of inactivity, fixed a black screen after Studio 397 splash screen at startup. They've also fixed the multi-view not working on custom resolutions. They fixed the world flag displaying too large. They've fixed the incorrect naming of some time zones, fixed naming of some drivers. They've added a new launch video. They've improved the tab navigation within car setup, and they fixed the Le Mans track defaulting to 1 minute in race weekend. For VR improvements are being worked on but aren't fully released yet. For those that are using the hidden VR option, some updates have been made. So they fixed an issue with the MSAA not functioning in VR. They fixed the HUD so it works in VR, and they've also fixed the UI so it works in VR. And if you want to try VR, you just need to add plus VR to the launch options of the game. So you right click Le Mans Ultimate in Steam, go to properties, and then on to general. Now for the tracks, Under Portimao, they have corrected the name of the default setup folder and corrected the circuit detail settings of pit officials. For Imola, they've corrected the name of the default setup folder. They fixed the crowd and grandstand seats popping in on start finishing straights. They fixed bump in support road on exit of Acqua Mireale, and they've also fixed lack of trees in the rear view on hill behind Acqua Mireale. For Monza, they've corrected the name of the default setup folder, corrected the circuit details for pit officials. They fixed curb geometry. They've rebuilt the barrier collisions, and they've updated the rolling start so P1 starts from right hand side. For Bahrain, they've corrected the name of the default setup folder, the setup pit door sharing for final 2 pit boxes, smoothed AI entry into pit lane from racing line as well. For Le Mans, they've corrected the name of the default setup folder, adjusted track limits at Mulsanne chicanes, and removed the brake marker which no longer exists for Ford chicane. For Sebring, they've corrected the name of the default setup folder, they've corrected the circuit detail settings for pit officials, and then for Spa, just one change, and they've corrected the name of the default setup folder as well. For cars, let's start off with general notes. They've added the Coach Dave Academy Imola setups, they've added track-specific BOP for GTE, they've fixed various issues with missing AI driver talent entries, there's been some optimization to rendering interior of cars from exterior views, they've reviewed tyre compounds and revised temperatures which tyres reach peak grip levels, they've reviewed fuel mixtures and simplified down to a safety car mix and race mix. They've equalised force feedback strength across cars with the following approximate adjustments. Note that this is a percentage change, so someone currently running 50% strength on the BMW would need to run 40% to get the same output. So for the BMW hypercar, it's plus 20%, the Cadillac hypercar plus 20%, the Ferrari hypercar plus 10%, the Glickenhaus hypercar plus 34%, the Lamborghini hypercar plus 20%, the Peugeot hypercar, both of them are plus 12%, the Porsche 963 hypercar plus 24%, the Toyota hypercar plus 6%, the Van Hal hypercar plus 32%, the Aston Martin GTE plus 11%, the Corvette GTE 16%, the Ferrari GTE 9%, and the Porsche GTE plus 6%. Now specifically for the BMW M Hybrid, they've reduced the max power output kilowatts at Le Mans, which is -3. For the Ferrari 499P LMH, they've increased the weight penalty kilogram at Sebring plus 15 and Portimao plus 22 and Imola plus 25, and they've reduced the max power output kilowatt at Imola -5. For the Lamborghini hypercar, they've updated the physics based on new data received from Lamborghini, and they've adjusted the BOP for updated physics. For the Peugeot 9XA 2023, they've reduced the max power outage kilowatts at Monza -8, and for the 2024 Peugeot, they fixed an issue with warping on fins when car is viewed from a distance, fixed an issue with small area of cockpit not receiving shadows, and they've increased the weight penalty kilograms at Le Mans +3, and at Imola +3 as well. For the Toyota LMH, they've increased the weight penalty kilograms at Sebring +13, Portimao +30, and Imola +5, and they've also reduced the max power outage kilowatts at Imola -5. And for the Orica 07 LMP2, they've updated the default setups. Now let's talk about future features on updates for Le Mans Ultimate. So they've mentioned that there are going to be private servers and broadcasting, so collaboration with SimGrid to implement private servers expected by the end of the year, and a broadcast overlay in relation to this for communities and leagues is also in development with this as well. There's also going to be online championships, and the devs are developing online championships where players must stick to 1 car per championship. For each round, you'll be given a number of attempts to score points, and for more advanced championships, you'll only get 1 shot at it, and these championships will have a greater impact on player rank and will serve as qualifiers for future esports events like the virtual 24 hours of Le Mans, and some championship features will be subscription based to cover the cost of servers and stewarding. They also mentioned the console version. Although it wasn't a lot, they've just said that the console version is being explored and no official news is available as of yet. And driver swaps and teams is likely to arrive in early 2025. And that's it. That's everything you need to know about the September update for Le Mans Ultimate. Remember, if you haven't picked up the game yet and want it at its lowest price, do it before September 30th. What do you think of the update? Let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the video and found it helpful or informative and like to see more content like this one, make sure you're subscribed and I'll keep you up to date on the latest news for Le Mans Ultimate and other racing and simulation games. So if that interests you, stick around and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.